Hi, my name is Stephanie Miele, and tonight's special guest is Cristina Zenato. Cristina is a shark behaviorist, an ecologist, an active ocean and cave explorer, an environmental conservationist, a professional diver, speaker, writer, photographer. There's nothing this woman can't do. She is advanced cave trained, she's rebreather trained, she's an instructor for those disciplines as well. She's worked with sharks in the wild. She plots undiscovered caves. There's so much dimension to this woman. In 3 words, we can summarize her, or she can be summarized as an explorer, an educator, and a conservationist. So please welcome Cristina Zenato. Hey.
Hi. Hi, Stephanie. Hello,
How
everyone.
are you? How
I'm
how
good.
are you?
Good.
Good, good, good.
Yes.
So I've been waiting for this for a while. You are an impressive woman, and there is so much I want to dive into. But typically, what I start out with was how it all began. And there was one thing that I dug up, and it was you grew up in the African rainforest, correct?
Correct. In the Congo.
Before moving to the Bahamas, you said that you first dreamed of swimming with sharks when you were just 8. Um, what was it about this apex predator that captured your imagination so young? Help us, help me, help the viewership put it together from young Cristina and how this started. It's a loaded question.
It it's a loaded question, but it's a very easy one. I am old enough to be really the Jaws generation. I was born in
Oh, yeah.
1971. And so by the time I was 5, Jaws came out. And on a coattail of that, quite a lot of shark related movies. Well, one of these had sharks that actually were friends with a human, and they were used to actually punish people that did something wrong to the sharks. So it still had,
Ah,
kind of like the little gory thing, but there was this
yeah.
guy, obviously had magical power and had a medallion that made him friends with sharks. And I was just like, I really like that. In conjunction with that, I grew up with a family from the ocean that took me to the ocean. My father was an ex-military diver, so I always had very much a connection to the ocean. But it was a childhood dream when underwater scuba ranger with sharks for friends came from like this very B kind of movie from 1978.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. I'm of this Jaws generation as well. So the year I was born, Jaws came out. So it's I grew up with it, and there's a bridge, the famous bridge where the shark swims under. You can jump off that bridge, and my son and I jumped off that bridge a couple of summers ago. So it's a very fitting movie and very special place. So how did you go from the rainforest to Bahamas? Like, how did you end up where you are?
I think that is the number one question that anyone that sees what I do now wishes, for me to kind of like dish it all out. Oh, I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, and all of this happened. I would say, in general, I've been in this for 32 years. Obviously, there's an overlap, and there's some stuff that started, and then I did, and this. But the way I went about it is at the age of 22, I finally had the time and a little bit of financial capacity to become a scuba diver. And so I went to a travel agency and I said, hey, I really want to learn how to scuba dive. I was based in Italy at the time. That's where I'm originally from. And my background was in languages. So I was fluent in 5 languages and I had hotel management background and degree. It was back then a very new degree, very advanced kind of degree. So I went to the travel agency and I said, I gave them the dish out of Maldives, Seychelles, Red Sea. Then I went into Mauritius and Madagascar. And either because they were in Ramadan at the time or they were closed, they only did a half a season or were too expensive, none of them was available. And so the travel agency sent me here on this island to do my open water course. And I jumped in the water. There were Caribbean reef sharks everywhere. And so I surfaced and kind of like was just like, oh, wow, you have sharks. And they're kind of like, yeah, of course we have sharks. But I grew up in an ocean with my dad, luckily, where he said, sharks, you will never see one. You're going to be very lucky if you see one. They're skittish. They don't like people. They're going to run away. And so I jumped in, and there was like a dozen Caribbean reef sharks. And so through my languages, I found a job in a resort that catered to foreigners who didn't speak English. So my job for the first 8 months of my career was to help people that were checking in, people that needed reservations, people that needed to go on excursions through my Italian to English, French to English, German to English, anything like that. While I was doing that, I was also working on my dive education. So my
Ah,
shift used to be 4 p.m. till 11 p.m. So every morning I woke up at about 5. I would exercise, rollerblade the 6 miles down to the dive shop, go out on 2 dives, did whatever course in between the dives, whatever it is. Maybe I did the 2 dives, maybe I did the class. Then a rollerblade back, take a shower, eat something, take a nap, work 4 till 11, and start it all over again the next day. With the only difference when it was my day off, everybody at the dive shop knew it because I stayed for all 4 dives. I did the 2 morning dives, the 2 afternoon dives. If they had it, did the night dive. And so they're like, oh, it's your day off. And be like, mm-hmm. So by the time I was a dive master, then the company, unfortunately, they don't do diving anymore, but it was the Underwater Explorers Society, UNEXO.
ah,
Me, would you work for us? And I honestly was tentative. I was just like, no, no, I'll keep working in the hotel industry and travel the world and do all this diving as I like. Now I can go to the Maldives and work in the hotel, in the resort, and dive in Maldives. And then they were so insistent that I jumped ship. And so I moved, I did a lateral move and started all over again.
oh,
Now, there was a hub. It was at the time, we're talking about 1994. It
oh
was.
yeah.
Yes, so I got my now instructor training through Butch Hendrick, and then there were caverns on the island, and Ben Rose had just started a shark dive. So I started, we had a photographer center, and so I could actually explore all of this with very passionate and dedicated people. And I was hungry. I just wanted to learn and everything. We had a hyperbaric chamber. I became a chamber technician. Then I got involved. We used to have hydro labs, so I got to know Dick Clark, and then I started reading things about oxygen and gas mixes, and then I discovered the caverns. I did a cavern dive, fell in love with it. It would take 2 years from my certification to full cave, and then here we are, 32 years later with all the titles that you read, but like they've been acquired not all at once, but through the years.
Yeah, and that and a lot of people that almost everybody, actually everybody that I have interviewed on this platform, it's not a quick thing. It's honing a craft. It's figuring out what you like, what you don't like. It's figuring out the avenue that works and fits and feels best for you. So it seems to be a thread and a theme amongst the people that I'm getting a chance
Yeah.
to
Well,
interview.
it's just
So
showing up doesn't get you anything.
no, it
Showing
doesn't.
up, I can say, welcome. Yeah, well done. Okay, you're showed up. I think what you're going to find, especially through the Sea Sisters of the Women that were Hall of Fame, as you know, it's like that persistence, but also the nose to the grindstone, but also the capability. If you dig deep, there will be failure stories, rejection stories, having to redo everything, having lost everything and start all over again in each and every one of us. I know because we spend a lot of time having dinner, but this podcast is for other people. Showing up, but I'll be like, yay, congratulations. But you're right, is staying the consistency, but also the understanding that it's not a straight path. And I
No,
think
never
that
is.
is that, but primarily is a following a passion,
Hmm.
making sure that it's following a passion, like you said, find what you like and what you don't you like, but understand that you might have to do what don't you like for a while
Oh
in
yeah,
order to continue doing what you like.
it's true. It's never an easy path, and as much as and I try and explain this to my son. I'm like, look, this isn't forever. The universe is putting this in your life, in your journey for a very specific reason. We don't know what it is yet, but life is about opportunities, choices, and you've got to show up. The door can be opened for you, but you have to step through that door. So just being there and showing up and being like, yeah, I'm here, that does nothing. So it's putting the work in, it's the grind, and it's perseverance. To your point, it's tenacity, and I see it woven through I mean, almost everybody that I've interviewed. Um, okay, so I want to talk about sharks and I want to talk about caves. So I know they're both special to you, and well, this is your work has been featured on Shark Week. You've done so much for conservation and protection of these amazing creatures. You have a relationship with the Caribbean reef sharks. Um, I've seen it. Not personally, I've seen it through video, but they rest on your lap. They pile up on each other. They allow you to pet them, touch them, help them. It's and you're removing hooks from their mouths. It cannot be comfortable for them to have them obviously in their mouths, but they trust you enough to do that to help them. That feeling, walk me through that feeling. That must be amazing.
It's the feeling, you actually said the key word, which is relationship. So if you were to ask someone, walk me through the beautiful relationship that you have, fill in the blanks. It could be with your mom, with your husband, with your son. It doesn't specifically have to be, a love, like a romantic relationship. And that, I think, is the feeling that I have with the sharks, is relationship. I love them. I worry about them. I'm happy when I see them. I don't want to leave. Even after 32 years, I don't want to leave. But the feeling, it's emotional every time. Doesn't matter how many times one of my girls decides, yep, today I'm just going to lay in your lap and I'm just going to stay here and I'm going to allow you to pet me. It is emotional. It is, sometimes I still cry, sometimes depending obviously on how my, energy is, I still get very emotional on that moment. Here is a shark that says, yeah, I trust you. I actually trust you, not just to lay in your lap, which is not the trust part. The trust part is there's another dozen sharks are swimming around her. And in the moment she said, well, this is fine. This is safe. I trust them and I trust you. And so in this moment, I'll let myself go. And I established that relationship. And I think that is beautiful. That is rewarding. But then it's painful, right? It's painful when I see them with the hooks. It's painful when I see them injured. It's painful when the hook doesn't come out. And the most painful part is the one that, fortunate for many of our relationship, we actually have the privilege to do, which is a closure. But with the sharks, I don't have a closure. As the shark ages, and I see them, by now I know which one the signs are. I talk to other people that work for 20, 30 years with sharks, and we compare notes. I said, does it look like that when they age? It's like, yeah, it starts looking like that. And we all said the same exact characteristics. So when I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, well, this girl has been here 17 years. The lifespan is 15 to 18. And it starts showing that. Then comes the time when I go down and she's not there. One day, a week, a month. And I kind of always look, towards the blue. We have good visibility in the Bahamas, 80 to 100 feet on a regular day, unless there's something crazy happen. But and so you can see the shadow from a distance, and you're like, and it's not her. And so the time and the gap gets longer and longer until you finally you kind of know, but you can't really close it. In a certain way, it's easier with loved ones, family,
Yeah.
as it's easier with loved ones like pet family. The sharks leave that empty little niche in my heart. There's a lot of them, 32 years, at least two generations. And I'm like, Sometimes we dive a lot also in a different location. It's called Tiger Beach, or we have the tigers, but there's also there a resident population of Caribbean. And so every once in a while, I'm like, I wonder if one of the girls that is not a Shark Junction is a Tiger Beach, but they're too far apart. And that is a painful part, but that is my
Yeah.
relation. It is a relationship. I don't know how else to describe it.
It's sweet and it's endearing and it sounds really special. So it's I can feel your emotion as you're talking about your girls. So um, the in 2011, your work alongside the Bahamas National Trust and the Pew Charitable Trust was instrumental in declaring the Bahamas a protected shark sanctuary. Looking back on that monumental achievement, how is it? Do you feel that it has changed the trajectory of shark conservation globally? And this is another loaded question. What else needs to be done to help protect them?
I think it was a great step. Bahamas was not one of the first one. One of the things that I use the Bahamas as an example is really funny together with Palau and Fiji and the Bahamas, which are considered still kind of like third world countries and they're island nations. So a very fragmented environment, very difficult to monitor. You would think very based on fishing, quite as a lot of it. They actually were some of the first ones to recognize the value of sharks. So to me, that is the example to be used. There's more protection in the small fishing-based island nations of sharks than there is maybe in big countries. Excuse me, I just dropped my earbud. There we go. That's what life is about. So that I think is the most important example of what shark conservation can be done. What needs to be done, we're still at the first steps. I mean, where I am, Grand Bahama Island is neighboring to Florida, and I'm sorry, Florida, not everyone, because I have a lot of friends there that are fighting for it, but is very much pushing for shark culling and shark fishing and shark killing. The daily messages that I receive about the erroneous perception of sharks and the complete misunderstanding of the word sharks, right? 530 different species of animals clumped under one word, sharks. Saying sharks is like saying birds. And you don't need to
Yeah.
be an ornithologist to understand that not all birds fly, all birds nest in trees, all birds are beautiful, colorful, right? Yet with sharks, always say, well, sharks do this and sharks do that and shark this and shark that. So there's sharks in every coastline of the world, now even Antarctica. And I think the biggest job is still instilling into people a diversification of sharks, the importance as keystone species, but even furthermore, we need to stop lumping them under this one word, expecting this one size fits all answer, right? Well, if I see a shark, what am I going to do? And I'm usually asked 10 questions, right? And
Yeah.
also realizing that they're thinking, living, breathing creatures. In this, I usually say I'm a big puffer fish in a small glass ball. And like,
Yeah.
and I can't turn around and I'm thinking, oh, that's it. It's all fulfilled. But all I need to do, even within my circle, stretch out just a little bit. And the fear, the myths, the misconception, the absolute misunderstanding about sharks is still extreme. So you said three words: exploration, education, and conservation. Education, I think, still needs a huge amount of effort.
I
Very
agree.
much. Education is what is missing, and is missing from our politicians.
Oh yeah.
Horrific things that they come up with, is missing from our general population, is missing from our schools, is missing from our children. Um, we need to start from the base and start coming up. But ultimately, it's also missing from the people that keep perpetrating the same things, the same TV programs, the same movies, the same words, the same attitudes. It's kind of like it's time kind of like to flip the script. So it's to be done.
Yes. it's not, yeah, there's quite a bit of work to be done, but the more that we speak about it, the more that we talk about it in forums like this or podcasts like this, and it just reaches, if it reaches one more person, it sticks and the education chain continues to grow.
Absolutely.
So you've stated, I love to drift between sharks and caves, two passions that I am never able to decide which one I love most. Well, shark diving is dynamic. It's dynamic, it's fulfilling, it's emotional, it's a relationship. Cave diving's silent. It's dark, it's deep, it can be deep, it's unforgiving. What different parts of your soul do these two environments feed?
Ooh, man, that is a loaded question.
It is. They're all loaded.
Okay, I think the shark fulfills more what would be the caring part of my soul. The My father, I mean, he was talking about my husband, but he said I have this good attitude on picking up strays. But it's just like he said, and he was joking, obviously, but he said that all throughout my childhood life, I was a magnet for animals. I tend to attract animals, and animals are comfortable with me. So I think the shark part fulfills that caring, nurturing part of me. Um, I mean, I call my dogs my land sharks, and it's uh, it's dynamic because I love their behavior. So I'm living, breathing creatures that fulfill my curiosity. It's like, what happened there? Why did you do that? What happened in the background? So I look at the fish. How did they move? What was the weather? So it's very much fulfills that dynamic curiosity, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Cave diving, cave exploration, which is totally different, I think fulfill more of a personal discovery. It's more a conversation with the self. Although I say the cave speaks to me, because you have to be almost, if you have to be true to yourself diving, and you have to be true to yourself diving with sharks, you really have to be true to yourself cave diving. And I think cave diving really fulfills the deep need of personal discovery. Before exploring is the personal discovery, the peace that brings. I usually say time does not tick in a cave. Yes, there's a gas time or the rebreather time or the no decompression or decompression time. But what I'm saying is when I'm going down the tunnel of one of these caves that I dived for the last 30 years, 28 years exploration, I could be 22, I could be 24. It does not matter. My age is gone. It could be midday, it could be midnight, but there's no, I'm going cave diving and then I have to do this, right? Is I'm going cave diving. And I think fulfill the my introvert part to need to recharge. This is mine. This is my space. This is my moment. With the sharks, it fulfilled the other one. It's like input, 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 input. And the cave is like, no, that's it. So I think those are the two parts, right? Is the super dynamic with 600 inputs that makes me having to pay attention to everything, and the cave, which is like more focused. Although I pay a lot of attention, people that don't know about cave diving, it might, we are constantly monitor everything from our time to our gas to our feeling we're breathing to our stomach to our noises to what we feel, everything. It's a different kind. I think it's more secluded and secret and personal.
I think you described it beautifully, and it's like a
Thank you.
blending of two worlds. And you, I know you're a yogi, and I've because I've stalked you online. So I read all of the things, and we've swam in similar circles, and we have many similar friends. So I hear about Christina. So and I see your yoga practices, the ones that you share, and it's personal, and you see that you stop, you think, you're intentional. It's a beautiful display of athleticism and also spirituality, and I can feel this through this conversation. with your relationships with the sharks. It's like you can put yourself in different headspaces in different areas and be able to kind of become one with them. So I know that's very it's different. It's a different. That's just the feeling that I get from you, and it's really special.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. So, talking about cave exploration. So, one of your groundbreaking exploration milestones was the record breaking physical connection between a land cave and an ocean blue hole system. Can
Yes.
you take us in the water with you that day when you found the connection? What that must have been insane. Tell me about it.
So, this is a cave that Rob Palmer, in his book, describes as the most dangerous cave he has ever experienced. And he basically gave up the exploration for. The land cave is underneath what we call a native settlement, has a very high level of, unfortunately, microbial growth, so pollution and very orangey. So if you swim through it, it's like you're swimming through orange juice pulp, like very healthy, the one I freshly squeezed.
Yeah.
And then the ocean blue hole is called Chimney Blue Hole. And it looks like somebody went with a cookie cutter through the limestone of the island from 5 feet down to 42 feet and completely cut out an entire segment of the limestone, about 8 feet wide, so fairly wide, 8 to 10 feet wide, all the way down. And down there is a trapdoor, a reverse trapdoor. So it makes it very hard to get in, and it's very easy to be spitted out. And it's about 500 feet, sorry, from shore, right? These caves work on flow, so 6 hours a day, chimney siphons in, and the power is so strong that when we were filming with Net Geo, we had ropes to pull ourselves back up from. And then 6 hours a day blows out, and you cannot go in either when it's siphoning or when it's blowing. You have to catch that 20 minutes break in between the 6 hours and the 6 hours. You also have to catch it on a day when it's not rough and there's no waves coming in, or the visibility is not milky. You also have to catch it on the day where maybe it's during the daytime because the location is not the safest. So the day that I made a connection was in the making for 5 or 6 years of going in on these tide on this time on the day that I had off with a clear visibility, la 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 la. And for a very long time, I kept hitting what looked like a wall. And to the point that once or twice, I think I threw a temper tantrum inside the cave, just launched the exploratore reel against the wall. The Italian came out at me. I was very calm and collected because I kept biting my own tail. I kept finding this tunnel and that tunnel, and then I kept coming back towards my line. So I started exploring from land. But land, the tunnel, all of a sudden started going away from the ocean towards the north side. And I'm like, where is this going? So there was this block. And then one day, for whatever reason, my light hit it differently. I don't know. It was a wall, but it was not a wall. It was a rock that had fallen down and I'd done this clunk. And so every time I came, I saw a wall. But actually, if I went here, literally with my head against the rocks, and I looked this way, there was a passage. I was in Side Mountain, the Bahamas. We do a Side Mountain, enough for me to turn sideways and Spider-Man my way through the 2 sheets of rock of this rock that had gone clunk. And once I passed that, it was monumental. This cave, we've been recently remapping most of my work with my husband with the new technology and with the rebreathers. We've been able to push it a little bit more. The tunnels are monumental. Past that wall between the connection between the land, the ocean, and when I started being under the land, and I knew that because I could tell the difference in the water.
Yeah. The
tunnel just opened up in this absolute darkness. So I started following those. And within 3 days, I was just like, I'm going towards land. The cute story of that is I had already hosted one of the underwater, our World Underwater Scholarship Society scholars, Oscar Svensson. And he was coming back with Yoli for Christmas. And I was just like, you know what? I said, I had just finished training him as a cave diver a couple of months early in October. And he was coming back. And so I waited for him. So on 31st December, to 2012, yes. Is that the day? Yes. I basically kind of like went with Oscar and I said, come with me. I said, we'll make this connection. And so we start coming and I start seeing then the sign that we were under the land, which are not good signs because there were tires, plastic buckets, all the stuff that gets washed in from land. And then I saw my line that came down like this to go towards the north side. So I had come around the mound and I found the line and I just tied the line. And luckily I had Oscar with me and we surfaced. We were like, yay. And there was a couple of Bahamians waiting outside. Usually they want to know if there's a mermaid treasure or if we find some fish or why we go in the cave. Like for them, it's incomprehensible that you go cave exploring for the sake of cave exploring. It has to have a financial reason. And I was kind of like, they were going, woohoo, I did this. And so I called a colleague at work and he came and did like the pictures and the photos. And he came with Yuli, the other scholar, brought us some coffee. We drank some coffee. And I said, all right, we're going to go back in and we'll meet you out on the beach. And so they physically waited for us to do it. Was about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours traverse going back so that when they could actually be the real witness that we had immersed from this hole and come out from the other one.
That's cool. That is cool. And you've been a huge supporter of the Our World Underwater Scholars. It seems to we host them too, and they tend to piggyback because we're close by. So they'll either be with you and then me, and then vice versa.
True.
So you've done a tremendous amount of giving back with education, and I think those scholars are just they're amazing young people.
And it helps because I'm a TDI, advanced cave rebreather instructor. And so they come from me and then they come to you. And basically they're in the headquarters of who trained me to teach this stuff. So it's kind of cute connection.
It is a really cool connection. And it's really inspiring to see the next generation or two coming up behind us, and what they're seeing, I know. I was being kind to us with the two, but yeah, it's neat to see it. It's neat to see their passion. They're hungry, and they have a thirst for knowledge. So I think
and you can always learn something from them, right? Because they're younger. 100%. I mean, I always complain every year they get younger. I don't know how, but
I don't know. It's a mystery.
I know the age remains the same for them to participate, but to me they're getting younger and younger. But every time somebody comes, I can learn something new, maybe about technology or maybe about communication or a Zoom versus a WhatsApp. It's actually very cool because it's always a two-way. We're never too old to learn. Yes, we teach them a lot. Yes, I take them through a lot, but sometimes it's also cool to watch them and listen to them and hear how they are approaching new things or ideas that they gave me through the years. It's really very, very nice exchange. I love it.
I do too. I look forward to it every year. It's a special time, and everybody here gets giddy too. So it's special. It really is. Okay, so trying to figure out which one. Okay, so let's talk about Woodoff for a little bit. You were inducted many years ago, and you've been an active supporter for years. How has been part of this sisterhood shaped your journey? What do you pull from it?
From the sisterhood.
Pre-show, just from for the viewership, Cristina and I were talking beforehand, and we have a common friend, many common friends, but Catherine Castle Garcia is special to both of us. But it's people like that, powerful, kind people. How do you pull from that group?
The first thing that I pulled from that group that was really, really cute is at the moment I basically was inducted, it was just kind of like, welcome. And it was almost like some of them have that energy, almost like the rabbit, I'm late. When Alice in Wonderland, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. So they're like, welcome, welcome. Yeah, we have things to do. This is how you're going to pay it forward. And I think is the most beautiful part of the sisterhood is very much this camaraderie, this amazing watching a personality women, right? Absolutely, the most of them top of the line in whatever their fields, multiple top of the line in the same field, come together, right, with a purpose, which is to pay it forward. There's no caddy, there's none of that. And I think that is the most beautiful thing. One of the most beautiful thing that I start pulling from the sisterhood is together we're a force to reckon for. It's just like women that help women. And as a woman in the industry for many, many years ago, that is, I think, one of the most inspirational part. I mean, part of the sisterhood makes me want to do more and give more of that paying it forward. But I also through the years, and I have to say through some very difficult moments, found the sisterhood, they they don't let you give up. They don't
No.
leave you. If you're running a marathon and you're saying, that's it, I'm done, you'll find one or two or three or four sisters that will come and put themselves underneath your arms and carry you through the finish line. And that is what I have experienced through the sisterhood, especially 2019. The island
Yeah.
was demolished by Hurricane Dorian. 3 months later, we went through the pandemic. We lost everything. There was no tourism, there was no diving, there was nobody coming. And the sisterhood, some of the sisters in this group are the one I literally called and I said, I have hit rock bottom. And she was like, nonsense, come on a call. And we threw ideas and we chopped ideas. And going back to what we said in the beginning about resilience, is that the moment I lost everything and I had the courage to say, I feel defeated, I feel lost, because it takes a lot of courage to be, in a certain way, Cristina Zenato in the Women Divers Hall of Fame and in the Explorers Club, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, 30 years into your 30 years, 28 years into your career, you're like, I lost it all. And actually reach out and say, I lost it all and I feel lost. And then receive like ideas and suggestions. And in what we were talking, when I lost it all, I didn't give up. Through the help of the sisterhood, through also a lot of resilience. And in that case, my husband was in my life at the time. So it helped a lot. We were kind of like, all right, that road is gone. The hurricane completely washed off the bridge. How are we going to cross the river? And we
Yeah.
start putting brick up after brick up after brick up, and we cross the river. And what a crossing with it. I mean, the
Yeah.
best thing that could ever happen was to lose everything.
Yeah. Again, the universe putting stuff in your path that you don't quite understand, and it's difficult. But yeah, you cross that damn river
You
boldly.
do.
So,
But
so
those are the things I got from the Women Diver Hall of Fame is a pay it forward. And when you have some time, please pay it forward.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's a phenomenal group of exceptional women. Um, okay, so people see your glamorous footage on Shark Week or Nat Geo, but behind the scenes, you've spent years physically organizing, installing, and maintaining a diving mooring system in the South Shore of Grand Bahama. It's gritty, exhausting work, drilling the mooring buoys. How it's just as vital to reef survival as passing major sanctuary laws. How are you still doing that work, and how does it resonate with you?
No, I am no longer doing that work. There's another local operators that is putting in a change in the lines. I have contributed sometimes, but like maybe if a line breaks, picking it up, taking it away. I stopped about been 5 or 6 years ago, just because the dynamic of how I conduct the job is different. But I did it for did it for like 25 years. Uh, to be honest with you, we were talking about cave diving, splicing a line. Talk about meditation while you sit there by yourself and you just splicing line after splicing line after splicing line is one of the most meditative states that I could ever receive. But the moorings very much have helped the maintenance and the health of the reef. For me, it was part of a service. The same as removing the hooks from sharks. I dive with sharks. Yes, there's a financial component with my work with sharks. We all have to work, and being that we're the
Yes.
Women Divers Hall of Fame, most likely our job is related with diving and the ocean. But it's also that way of saying, well, I'm going to maintain what actually allows me to make a living. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
maintain the sharks. I'm going to try to protect them. I'm going to explore the caves. I will try to protect the caves. I dive on the reef. I try to protect the reef. We can't do it all. And that is, I think, sometimes maybe the pressure that some of us are put under as we start doing things. People keep reaching out and say, well, you must do this as well. And you didn't do this and you forgot to do that. But I usually tell people, when you feel overwhelmed, remember, we do what we can where we are with what we have. And that's what I've done here in the Bahamas, which was the moorings, as well as training quite a lot of Bahamians through the years in the art of scuba diving, as well as exploring and mapping and promoting protections of caves, and as well as removing hooks and then promoting the protection of sharks. So I think that, and you said it earlier on, if you believe in the power of one, if you believe in the fact that you as an individual can make a change, you're halfway through your effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are. It's true. Um, so yeah. I mean, that resonates so powerfully lately, especially for me, just taking that one step forward and teaching different skills to different peoples in different phases of life. So it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do that, and also to learn a ton as we're going through this. Um, so, what projects are you working on now? Is there anything that you want to share, talk about?
I'm not much one that only has like a just a 1 year project, or I'm gonna just work on something small. I don't know why. You, for those that don't know me or listening, quite a few I see, and thank you, Donald. That is a beautiful comment. I really love it, love it. Um, Maybe not everyone realizes, but I'm still very much involved in what everything I do. So
Mm-hmm.
shark removal of hooks doesn't stop. Cave conservation, cave mapping hasn't stopped. I think the biggest project we're working on right now, there is a location that is very, very unique, with one of the most complex cave system of Grand Bahama Island, with quite a lot of incredible caves. And we've heard rumors that it might be under some threat of external development. But the locals that
Oh,
live on it actually want to keep it. And so Kevin and I have been now 5 times on an expedition style to do the same thing that I did with the Lucaya National Park and Banks Cave, is
yeah,
basically to give an overview of everything that is inside that area: the caves, the creeks, the mangroves, the fauna, the flora, all that is related, and obviously the local people, and try to create also for this little, it's a key, like a safe haven for not being
yeah,
sold to be overdeveloped. That is, I think, the biggest one that we're working on. Kevin and I is also working on a little story, a movie. We have been trying to propose it to many, and everybody turned it down. Everybody, when they ask us, "Oh, what would you like for the story to be?" and we say, "Well, this is the story we'd like to be." The year's like, "Oh yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, we just need this." So we're working on our own full story and documentary. And then the last thing that we're working, this on top of everything else that we're doing, is we're preparing a couple of new Sharky trips.
ooh,
to join us. We do the liveaboard around the Bahamas to go and dive with up to 10 different species of Bahamian sharks. We do South Africa with up to 10 different species of South African sharks or
Wow.
pelagic sharks. Now we're adding another destination, but we're still working on it.
Ooh,
But it has to
so
do
we'll
with
have to
Jaws.
follow
So,
you.
yes.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So we're working on these different things. So locally based,
oh,
personal project, and also internationally based. So
very cool. Very cool.
yeah,
So we'll
it's
have
it's
to
quite a
follow
lot.
along.
We like to keep busy, but it's really cool. And obviously, some is sharks and some is caves because I can't
Gotta
decide.
have both. Yeah, no, and nor should you have to. So, um,
Thank you.
well, we're coming to time almost. So, I have one more question. I'll save it for the end. Is there anything that you want to impart on the viewership? Any words of wisdom?
Oh, if my mom heard you, she will laugh. But words of wisdom. Let's see. I said the power one, believing in the power one, which is one of the I think the things that sometimes it's taken away from us, right? We've been told the it's never good enough, is not enough. So I think the other one, the words of wisdom, is that we are enough in the capabilities of what we're doing and what we're paying it forward.
Yeah,
um, and I believe in that. I believe in just like it is enough, even if sometimes it means having to take a break or a step back. Be
yeah,
very much believe in the power of the individual, and you don't need. A lot of people ask me, oh, how do I get to save sharks? I want to come and remove hooks from you with you to save sharks. You don't need even to do that. You can help save the ocean. You can help pay it forward from where you are, from Colorado, from Ohio, from the center of China. Every action that you have has a consequence and a reaction. So understand what are the little things, the little changes in your life that you can do to have a better and positive impact on who is around you.
yeah. Those are very, very true words. So, um, my last question. So, you speak 5 languages fluently, and you often joke that your sixth is shark. Um, what language do you dream in?
English.
Do you? Okay. I
I
was curious
do. I
about that.
actually So if I talk with my mom on the phone in Italian, sometimes if I rethink about our conversation, chances are it's going to come back in English.
Huh.
But I dream in English, yes.
Very cool.
I used to
Very
dream in
cool.
German, but
Ah. So, but
I lived
Italian
in
was your
German. I
first
lived in
language?
Germany for Italian is my mother language. I grew up speaking it
Okay.
from Italian parents, speaking Italian, and then the second one that was very often spoken within the community was French. I
Hmm.
added English at age 8, and then German and Spanish at age 13, 14. And then I lived in France, I lived in Germany, but I've been 32 years here. And when I came here, I put myself completely immersed into English. The entire library behind me is in English. So, yes, I do dream in English, count in English, or think in English.
Gotcha, gotcha. I was just curious. It was something that I had here, because the
You t-
languages it's a lot. So, well, thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to talk to you, to learn more about you, and for the viewership to please follow along Christina's journeys. They're amazing, and thank you again very much.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephanie.
Talk to you soon. Thank you for joining me tonight to interview the amazingly talented and awesomely beautiful Cristina. She's doing amazing work, and I think it was just lovely to talk to her and to learn more about her. So, the Women Divers Hall of Fame is a nonprofit that works together to put together scholarships and grants for people yearly, and the scholarships and grants have totaled over $1 million since being formed as an entity in the past 25 years. So please tune in next month and join me for our next guest. Have a good night.